Ja no dic res més. Ara donar la benvinguda a la primera convidada d'aquesta nit, que és una catalana nascuda a Alemanya. La Katherin Wermke va néixer, com a dic, a Alemanya i ha vingut molt jove a Barcelona, ha desenvolupat una carrera molt important en la fotografia i ha fundat, entre moltes altres coses, a Barcelona Photographer. Benvinguda, Katherin.
Buenas noches. Primero, muchísimas gracias a Patricia por la invitación al programa de Cataluña. Voy a seguir este programa en inglés porque aquí estamos haciendo un international live streaming y hay muchos espectadores de otros países, entre otros pues, europeos, americanos, y bueno, por lo tanto voy a cambiar al inglés, ¿vale? Así todo el mundo puede entender un poquito, all right? So, well, thank you very much. I'm very happy that I can be here tonight. My name is Katherin Wermke. As you can see, it's a German name, but I don't feel that much German anymore, actually, because I've been living here since 2000, and I always liked to be here in Barcelona. And today I would like to explain a little bit how I came here, how I progressed, how I developed to be a photographer, what I'm doing, where I'm working, and what are my future plans. And above all, what's my philosophy of life and what I really would like to give the new generation of young photographers on the way, because it's a very difficult field nowadays to put your feet into photography, okay? So, actually, before coming to Barcelona, I've been working in Catalonia, which is my city where I was born and raised, and I dedicated more or less my time to television production. I used to work in a German television program, which led me to go to Mexico City. So in Mexico City, I had the chance to work for vesves Noticias, which is a international news channel. Actually, there in Mexico, I started to learn Spanish. So when I came to Barcelona, actually, I came with a pretty much Mexican accent. But well, this changed pretty quick because then I started to learn Catalan. So in Mexico, actually, I discovered my passion for photography, because at this moment, my father, for this journey, well, he gave me my first analogical camera. I was like, I was 19, more or less. So I started to take pictures, doing documentaries of everything, and I love this. Well, after this 3 months stay of Mexico, I came back to Catalonia, where I started to study audiovisual communications and languages, which led me to have a scholarship to study here in Barcelona in one of the universities, which is called Pompeu Fabra. So there I started to study. And after 3 months, the scholarship finished, and I was thinking, wow, that's sad, I have to go back to Cologne, to my city. And I tried to find any kind of way and possibility to stay here in Barcelona. So I decided to be a student in the Catalan Photography Institute, which is called Institut d'Estudis Fotogràfics de Catalunya. And here we go, I did this, and then suddenly 5 years passed by. I finished my studies there. And then I was there, and I didn't know what to do, so I thought, well, I have to become an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and I wanted to do my own company. So I started a project which is called Barcelona Photographer. Okay, I started to form this company, and I decided to bring like a new idea to Barcelona, which consisted in organizing for foreign visitors photo tours, photo workshops in English, and photo shootings with all the emblematic places in town. So this idea really worked pretty well, and year after year, well, my small little company was growing, and I decided to get more and more into formation. So I became a photography instructor, which led me to be a teacher at the Catalan Photography Institute, actually, where I was starting my career. A part of all this, we always I always dedicated a part of commercial photography in this, well, to my passion, which is actually the photo documentary, and which led me as well to travel to different countries. So during all this year, between 2000 and nowadays, I've been living and working in New York, Dubai, and especially India. Because 2 years ago, I formed with two of my colleagues, Marita Sola and Olga Martin, a NGO, which is called Street Heroes of India. And we dedicate to give formation to psychosocially mistreated children. So one of my duties in India, and I'm talking about Kerala, which is in the southern part of India, is to impart formation and art therapy to children in orphanages. Precisely talking about Don Bosco. We are working with Don Bosco together. So we send psychologists and therapists from Catalonia, from Barcelona, to our home base, to our NGO base, Don Bosco in Kochi, which is in the southern part of India. And I'm going once a year to do art therapy programs. So I really like to do this social part of my business because I think it's a good opportunity to combine your professional work, shooting, fashion, publicity and all this with something really which comes from the heart. So later on I would like to tell you a little bit more about this.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So now we continue. Come here, don't go. This
Sorry.
is the time to speak because I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
After you explain that. One of the questions is, how old were you when you arrived to Barcelona?
Okay, let's see. I'm 38, so this was 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
15. So I was, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay. So you were 23, when you finished your scholarship, you started with your studies. How did you support yourself?
That's a good question, yeah. I think I've always been a very polyphacetic person, so I had 3 jobs at the same time. And at the same time I was studying. So on one side I was working in the travel agency, which is called NATO Bike. They organize walking and biking trips all over Europe. So I was doing the booking there, and actually I did some of the journeys for them as well, as a guide. And I did classes in German, which all German people do when they come here. And I was working as a hostess at the trade fair.
So language is always where that's it.
Yes, I think that's very important nowadays, especially as an expatriate, or in general for all the people. If you want to work, especially in my field, photography, in such a competitive field, you have to speak several languages.
And I was asking you, how did you support yourself? Because you just made to show this path you have taken as something very easy, but I know it has been difficult because you didn't have a scholarship and you support yourself and you fought in order to achieve all that you have right now.
I think the recipe, if I can call it like this, you might be surprised, it's very easy. I think these are like 3 issues, 3 factors. First of all, you need to have passion for work and for living. Second, you have to be humble, you need humildad. And third, you have to be constant in everything you do and everything you say.
And also, I know you have seen the opportunity when the opportunity arrived. So how was it you grabbed the Barcelona Photographer and how did you start? Because probably now for people they are more familiar with these tools, but at that time they were not.
That's right. Actually, I was like kind of the inventor of this photography tours and photography courses in English. This was in 2005. Yes.
And so you started with that, and how to sell that?
I think nowadays what is very important, on one side, to be very connected with social media. Well, in 2005, this was not so much an issue. It's more or less today. It's a thing which I always teach to my students, because I'm doing coaching programs at the Institute of Photography, where I prepare emerging photographers or students of the last course for their professional life as a photographer. in that time, we were still of this generation where we went from door to door, knocking the doors, printing out flyers, having people that distribute flyers. And in my case, because the website is called Barcelona Photographer, well, it automatically took an organic placement in the SEO. So if someone was looking for photographer in town and they put like the typical keywords, Barcelona Photographer, I just pop out on the first site. This helps a lot as well, yes. A good SEO, you know.
And when did you start with this journey or this need to do something else with your photography, as your trips to India?
I've always been a person, here in Spanish we say con culo quieto. That means that I could never sit like 5 minutes on a thing. And I always wanted to experience the maximum things in my life. So I started actually leaving my country very early. I went to Mexico. I used to live in Turkey. I lived in Canary Islands. I came here. Then I took the opportunity, or let's say I had the opportunity to live and work in New York. So I need this, I like this. But I always had considered Barcelona as my home base and as my place, because I like to come back here. Because for me, it's a fascinating city. It's a small city, well, almost 2 million, I would say, but it's still, it's small, and over the years, Barcelona has formed a very nice artistic community, and you got everything in the city. You got the modernism, you have nice architecture, and I think Barcelona is a really, really grown city. I like to compare it with San Francisco, so it gives me the same vibe, the same feeling. You know?
And how have you noticed the change between the Barcelona when you arrived, and let's say 15 years ago, and the Barcelona that we experience today for artists?
I would say 15 years ago, first of all, it was very different. It was much more easier than nowadays.
You think so?
Yes, I think so. Nowadays, there's like almost in my field, talk about photography, doing a photography business, it's like an overflowing market already. Everyone comes to the city. The city is very attractive, especially northern people from the northern European countries. They love to come here, of course, due to the climate and that. And there's a lot of competency. Even I don't like to use the word competency. For me, this doesn't exist. For me, they're all colleagues. You know what I mean? And it's more difficult nowadays for this reason. You have to find like gaps in the market. You have to be constant always, and especially you have to know how to do a good socializing with the people, and you have to be always nice and kind. I think that's as easy as it is.
Now I have questions. Sorry that I was hearing at you and looking at here, not because I'm not paying attention.
I don't see so much because I don't have my glasses on there.
So I have a question here. It says para Katherin, ¿qué se requiere para ser un buen fotógrafo?
¿Qué se requiere para ser un buen fotógrafo? What kind of requisites you need to be a good photographer? In my case, I don't look this. I think a good photographer has to be, on one side, an artist, has to be a very creative, very sensible person. On the other side, of course, he or she has to determine very well the technical side. On the third side, you have to be a good psychologist, because especially when you're shooting, you're dealing a lot with people, with clients, you have to know how to treat them, okay? And the fourth, or the fifth, I don't know, fifth point is, you have to be a good marketing person as well. So actually being a photographer, it's kind of a challenge nowadays, because there's so many issues you have to combine in one profession.
But I think it's that you are special in the sense, because I know many artists who are great artists in their own fields, but they don't have the marketing side, so the entrepreneurial side. So that's what makes you different, because you also provide that side. That's the entrepreneurial, I think.
Yeah. I think this is nothing. This depends, of course, on the character of each person. This is what I always try to teach to my students, you know. Not everyone is so much outgoing in this. For this reason, there are like different disciplines in the photographic fields as well. There are some people that are much better with still life, and others much better in architecture, and others better deal with people, and this depends on each character.
Another question, how do you prefer to make your pictures? Alone or with the help of a team?
I've always been like a very solitary person in this sense. Actually, all the journeys I'm doing by my own. I like to be to be surrounded by people, but I think that taking a picture doesn't matter if it's digital or analogical. It's a very intimate process. So you create the sense of connection between your mind, your heart, and your hands and your camera, which is a very intimate process. So there are very few people with who I can go to take pictures together, because sometimes they even make me nervous. This has to be really people that understand and that are on the same vibe, on the same level.
Personal space.
That's right.
For you, what is a good picture, somebody asked?
Oh, good question. What is a good picture? First, I think it doesn't have to be necessarily technically perfect. Important is that you know the technique in order to break the rules and make on purpose the pictures that maybe technically don't appear to be correct. A good picture for me, for example, talking about a good portrait, has to reflect, has to tell you something, you know, has to communicate, you know, and it can be a very simple picture, you know. Sometimes we make our lives so complicated, especially thinking pictures, and it doesn't have to be like this. Sometimes just a small mirada on view, it's sufficient.
And now, what do you think of technology now that it makes accessible photography to most of the people? So what are the standards now?
I think it's a good step towards future, because this will be the future. But still, on the other side, the analogical part of photography, I think will always be there, you know. And even nowadays, in the schools, in the workshops, they offer like taking pictures with cell phones, and this is okay. Instagram, Pinterest, all those platforms. I think everyone should be able to use them, because this is a way as well to share with others your picture in a very quick moment. The same like Facebook, Twitter, those places, you can quickly communicate with your families abroad, all over the world, well, like this, like with this live streaming.
And what would you give to society with your photography, or to say?
I think here we have to distinguish. On one side you have the professional photography, and on the other you have your personal work. What I want to do with my personal work is to communicate, to show, to tell stories, what's going on in other parts of the world, what's going on with this orphaned children in India, for example. And I'm working for another NGO which is called Children for Change. This is an organization of several, it's on international level actually, it's an organization of several photographers, filmmakers and journalists. So we work all together to show to the world maybe stories and pictures you would never get aware of it, you know. So.
Yes, it's true. But thank you, Katherin.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will talk a little bit more later. Thank you very much for the
Thank you, Patricia. It's a very difficult field nowadays to put your feet into photography, okay? So, actually, before coming to Barcelona, I've been working in Catalonia, which is my city where I was born and raised. And I dedicated more or less my time to television production. I used to work in a German television program, which led me to go to Mexico City. So in Mexico City, I had the chance to work for vesves Noticias, which is a international news channel. Actually, there in Mexico, I started to learn Spanish. So when I came to Barcelona, actually I came.
Cuando yo va a Barcelona, ha desenvolupat una carrera molt important en la fotografia i ha fundat, entre moltes altres coses, a Barcelona Photographer. Benvinguda, Katherin.
Buenas noches. Primero, muchísimas gracias a Patricia por la invitación al programa de Cataluña. Voy a seguir este programa en inglés porque aquí estamos haciendo un international live streaming y hay muchos espectadores de otros países, entre otros pues, europeos, americanos y bueno, por lo tanto voy a cambiar al inglés, ¿vale? Así.
Ja no dic res més, ara donar la benvinguda a la primera convidada d'aquesta nit, que és una catalana nascuda a Alemanya. La Katherin Wermke va néixer com a dic a Alemanya i ha vingut...
It's pretty much Mexican accent, but well, this changed pretty quick because then I started to learn Catalan. So in Mexico, actually, I discovered my passion for photography because at this moment, my father, for this journey, well, he gave me my first analogical camera. I was like, I was 19, more or less. So I started to take pictures, doing documentaries of everything, and I love this. Well, after this 3 months stay of Mexico, I came back to Colonia, where I started to study audiovisual communications and languages, which led me to have a scholarship to study here in Barcelona in one of the universities. Todo el mundo puede entender un poquito, all right? So, well, thank you very much. I'm very happy that I can be here tonight. My name is Katherin Wermke. As you can see, it's a German name, but I don't feel that much German anymore, actually, because I've been living here since 2000, and I always liked to be here in Barcelona. And today I would like to explain a little bit how I came here, how I progressed, how I developed to be a photographer, what I'm doing, where I'm working, and what are my future plans. And above all, what's my philosophy of life and what I really would like to give the new generation of young photographers on the way.